Let's now bring in NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams for more on all this. Pete, good morning. Of course, we're happy to have you on to discuss this with us today. So, first, just put this in perspective. We'd heard from you here at NBC News prior to this happening, and you had said it would be hard to overstate the importance of this here. That certainly seems true today. But just walk us through just how monumental this is, both from a legal but also a historical perspective.
Well, legal perspective, because, of course, it overturns 50 years of abortion precedents, not just Roe, but all the cases that followed on for Roe, in which the Supreme Court repeatedly said that there is a constitutional right to abortion. And then just the effect on people. This is a series of decisions, an abortion right that millions of American women have depended on, who have sought abortions in the years since Roe. And the other thing, of course, is the Supreme Court, it's not the first time the Supreme Court has ever granted a right and taken it away, but it is the first time the Supreme Court has ever granted a right that was widely recognized, that applied to millions of Americans, and then 50 years later, 49 years later, took it away.
And Pete, let's talk about these potential other rights. So that's kind of where this conversation is going now, of course, especially since we saw Justice Thomas's opinion. But what does this mean in terms of this right to privacy and any other right that is sort of rooted in that? Does the logic here mean that if that's what they used to overturn Roe versus Wade, that we could see that if any case concerning any of those rights comes before the court? What do you think could happen here?
Well, I am no expert on what's going to happen or what could happen, but let me explain why the issue is even raised in the first place. What the Supreme Court's opinion says is that not only is abortion not mentioned in the Constitution, but the right can't be derived from the Constitution, because while the 14th Amendment does guarantee a substantive due process, or due process of, it says you can't be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, that depends on whether a right, Justice Alito said, joined by the other four conservatives, that right is deeply rooted in the nation's history and traditions. Well, by that test, abortion, he says, fails the test, but so would the right to same-sex marriage, so would the right to obtain contraceptives, interracial marriage, decide where your children will be educated, lots of things that the Supreme Court has said over the years, right to travel and so forth, that are derived from the 14th Amendment. Now, Justice Alito says in his opinion several times, don't worry, this is just about abortion, and abortion is different because it involves the taking of a human life, and those other things don't. And Justice Kavanaugh, in his concurrence, said the same. Those other rights aren't threatened. But because of the logic the court used, that's why this question has arisen.
And Pete, given the makeup of the court right now, the conservative majority, how could that play out? Could we see more of these rulings that overturn those established laws and the rights of Americans? I think people who read these different opinions from these different justices, all still conservative justices, but don't know what that means. OK, so we see some saying, hey, don't worry about it. Others saying, no, this logic would apply. What do you think that means with the makeup of the court?
Well, to be clear, others on the court aren't saying the logic should apply. Only one other, that's Clarence Thomas, and he did say that the court should now revisit all those earlier substantive due process decisions on contraceptive, same-sex marriage, and so forth. But remember, the Supreme Court doesn't decide these things in a vacuum. It decides cases that come to the court. So what would have to happen here is that a state would have to pass a law restricting one of those rights, saying, you can't, same-sex couples can't marry, or there's no right to get contraceptives, or trying to restrict those rights in some way. And then they would have to come to the Supreme Court. And I think if they, my guess is if they did come to the Supreme Court right now, the court wouldn't overturn them. But that's right now. Who knows what could change? You can either take the words that Alito and the others offer that say, don't worry, these others are safe, or you can look at the logic of the decision, and I think all you can say is that they're safe for now.
Pete Williams, thank you so much. Of course, your expertise is so appreciated this morning.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.